We are here to create a movement grounded in love and kindness that transforms us, our community, and the world.
There's nothing you can know that can't be known. Nothing you can see that can't be shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. All you need. One more time, here we go. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 Love is all you need.
So I pulled a card early today because I just decided to change it up a little bit. So let me see whose card it is. My friend Olivia Shaw, I pulled your card today. Would you like to read? Come on. You can read it.
Put it in there last week.
Well, I don't know why I got it then. Well, there you have it. She just put it in last week.
Well, who in the world gave that woman a microphone? What do you want it to be in your life for others? A spiritual home where all are seen, loved, accepted, and embraced. Connection with people who support and enhance my soul growth. How do you want to feel? Safe, joyful, restful, peaceful, a refuge in sad, hard times, and a celebration in happy times. How will you bless this space? I'm going to share my abundance. Generously contribute my time, talents, and treasures.
Amen. Well, you just never know what I might pull up there. Are you ready to come together right here? Take a deep breath in. And let's bring our entire consciousness, our presence, right here, right now, into this space. And feel what it feels like just to be right here now. You know, I think it's a gift that's overlooked by me, and by projection, I'm saying you. The gift that we have to actually direct ourselves to the moment. There was a great soul card that we have, and you may have seen, is leave everything as it is and rest your weary mind. We can do that in the midst of any storm, in the politics of the day, in the wars of the world, in the discord, in the discrimination, in all that we see that is less than what we hoped. We can find this place in us. What I call the place of the divine in us. Always available. And when we choose to go there, even for a few moments, we change the vibration around us, in us, around us. And with all of us acting and being that way in this moment, we change the vibration of our community and beyond. That is no small work, my friends. And so for this, we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
oxygen that we breathe. Peaceful, river deltas clean and pristine. E is for everybody. Well, you can call it anything you want, my is love. Yeah, you can call it anything you want, my is love, 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 love. Well, you can call it anything you want, my is love. Yeah, you can call it anything you want, my is love, 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 love.
Well, there's one other thing I wanted to do. There were 2 miracles this month. You probably don't know it, but there were 2 miracles this month. One miracle was that Spiritual Soul Center now shows up on Google Maps. It's a miracle. Because if you would know what Renee and I went through to make that happen, you would say, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Another miracle, I mean, this is like, gives me shivers miracle. Because, and again, without Renee, this never would happen. Without our treasurer, Jim Kimbrough, our board treasurer, it would never happen. I can hardly get the words out because my stomach is flip-flopping. But Spiritual Soul Center is now on Venmo. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Denise or Wendy, when you come up here and get this, I mean, all you have to do is search on Venmo Spiritual Soul Center, or amazingly to me, I don't know how it happens, scan this thing and you can donate right there. Thank you, Wendy. So it's a miracle. Oh, my stomach is going to settle down. I'm serious. It was, both those things were a miracle. So now you have it. Some of you have said before, I think Ann said before, I thought you had Venmo. No, we didn't. But Venmo now officially supports charitable 501c3s. Up until now, the disclaimer on the bottom of their website said, nope, we don't do it. But something changed. It's a miracle, and we were able to do that. So here's another miracle. I want to introduce you to Dawn Ferrer. Dawn, can you come down here for a minute? So Dawn Ferrer started coming to Soul Center when we moved into the space, and she has been an active member. You can see her on Sunday mornings here setting up chairs. You can see her on the welcome team. You can see her contributing her time here as well. So what I found out about Dawn is that she is also the executive director of A Safe Place, which is a nonprofit that's... We have some amazing people here. The nonprofit that supports people who are being sex trafficked and offers them the services they need to have a life that is fruitful and meaningful. How about that?
I love it. So,
your January tithe, 10% of what you gave, is going to A Safe Place. That gives me goosebumps. That's the work that we do together. That's the work that we do together. And this year, my plan is right from here to let you know each month, where our tithe goes, and to celebrate that. And we have those folks that come here that we can support these. I mean, it's amazing to me. Dawn is here. Kim Henry is here. She's the executive director or the director of Theater for All. And I'll tell you, Theater for All, the young adults in Theater for All that are in their choir will be here on February 26th to sing for us. Standing room only, by the way. Standing room only. So that day, these front seats will be full. I feel so blessed by you and by your giving that allows us to offer that support to our local community. And that's because of you. That's because of you. Don't ever doubt that. All right, I think I'm ready. for this message. In Paul's letter to the Corinthians, there's a phrase that maybe we are familiar with, and it says, "Be in this world, but not of it." Have you heard that before? Be in this world, but not of it. In other words, don't be chewed up and spit out by what's happening out here. The battle that we have is not about this out here. The battle that we have really is to accept and own our own divinity. Because, oh my gosh, I know I don't feel very divine all the time, and I'm thinking maybe that's you too. But the first part of that is be in the world, and we are in the world. And we do have to be in the world because we're in this physical form. And we are here, and we've set up rules and laws about how we interact with stuff, right? I mean, that's the truth about it. That's the truth about being in the world. We don't have to be eaten up by it, but we certainly operate in this world, right? We operate in this world. But what I try to teach about living in this world is to do it consciously, right? Is to make conscious decisions and to be intentional about things. I resurrected my old poster that I wanted to share with you again. Like this one that says, "This is our expectation, but this is really what the world gives us." The world gives us all these things. And so if we're intentional and we recognize that this isn't the way things happen and really this is the way things happen, we can intentionally negotiate these hairpin turns, right? We can be aware and we can be conscious and we can be intentional about it. It's the same thing with this one that I shared last week. I talked about the wisdom from the improv, but you notice that it's all under the umbrella of kindness. And if we're intentional with our kindness, these are some tools that we can use, but the umbrella is kindness, right? And that's being intentional. It doesn't happen haphazardly. Well, it does when you make it habit. It happens all the time. But intentionality and consciousness is the key, right, of living when we're in this world. So I think the same applies to how we use our money. No groans yet. Like we have worldly obligations, right? We have worldly obligation, and we have chosen money as the way we satisfy them. Money itself, that green stuff or that paper check you write, it has no inherent value at all. It's what we decide it is. We decided in the United States, in our society, that this is how we exchange wealth. I mean, it's just the way it is. That's what happens. And we exchange it for things we want. And we always don't recognize that connection. We think we have to do something. We don't have to do anything. Well, I have to have a place to stay. Well, you can stay on the street. People do that. But we spend money for a home, right? Most of us woke up in a dry bed this morning. Is that a good assumption? Yeah, what a gift that is, right? So we exchange our money to have that bed that's dry. We exchange it for electricity to stay cool when it's hot out and warm when it's cold out, right? We exchange it for streaming services and cell phones and cars and gasoline and all things Amazon, all things pet related. We exchange it for art and education and entertainment and eating out. We exchange money for those things because we get something out of it. We get connection, we get safety, we get transportation from A to B whenever we want it, right? We get something for the money. We simply exchange it for those things. That's the way we have things set up. So, and when we operate from intention and consciousness, we have choices to make about that, right? We can make choices about that. Like, we can make a choice, like, do I want my kids to go to private school or public school? Like, we have a choice about that. And we decide, based on the value that we want, which way to go and the amount of money we have, yes. But I would hazard to say that there are people who have enough money to do that who choose not to do that, who choose to go to public school. It's a choice based on the value that you think you're getting. Maybe we do that with a membership we have. Like maybe you want to think, well, am I really using that membership or should I let it go? Right? Like, is it bringing me the value? Have I really gone to the gym? You know, or did I just wish and hope I was going to go and now I'm not going? You know, like we have a choice to make about that based on the value we get. How about, do I feel good about enrolling in this Medicare plan? Is this really what's going to get me? Yeah, you read my blog, didn't you? Or maybe you didn't. Or should we, you know, I'm thinking about a whirlwind European vacation, but maybe we should stick closer to home this time. You know, maybe the value I'm looking for we can get by taking our mini camper with no heat or air conditioning and no bathroom down to Myrtle Beach for a couple days instead of flying to Paris. Or me in the grocery store this week. I was shopping for my salad stuff because I have a salad every day for lunch. Helps me keep my girlish figure. And I wanted some cauliflower in my salad. And I looked at the cauliflower, and the cauliflower was $4.69 for a head of cauliflower. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Now, did I have that $4.69? Yes. But I decided that I didn't want to spend it on that I was buying green zucchini instead, and that's what I was having on my salad this week. Because I've evaluated how I wanted to spend my money. You do it all the time. I do it all the time. That's the way it works, right? We make a conscious decision about it. And so when you talk about money, and when I talk about money, it's not a scary thing. It's just the way it works. We all do it. It's nothing to be afraid of. Money is not the root of all evil. You might have heard that from the Bible too. Saying, money is the root of all... No, it isn't. The love of money is the root of all evil. Because then we make that our God. You know, we live in the world, all feet first and arms as well, instead of in it but not of it, right? So there's nothing wrong with talking about money. And why am I doing that today? Because I believe the intentional and conscious use of money can be a spiritual practice. It can be a spiritual practice. And I think it should be a spiritual practice because I think it should be intentional with some thought of how I want to be in the world and who I want to be in the world, right? If you brought some body wash and stuff here, you said, this is what I want to do with my money today. This is how I want it to work in the world. Yeah, conscious decision making. It didn't appear in your closet in your bathroom and you brought it here. Or maybe you had some extra and that's exactly how it happened. You know what I mean? You had to have some extra. So I think it's a spiritual idea to recognize that money is the flow of abundance through me. It's not my money. The old, you can't take it with you, true, right? So while I'm here, I am the steward. I am in charge of the flow of abundance through my life. That's what it is. I believe that there's only one source in all the universe. Call it what you want. God, the divine. That's the only source there is. So if that's the only source there is, and that's what I believe from a spiritual perspective, mine is simply to honor the flow of abundance through my life. And that's why I think it's spiritual. That's why I think it's spiritual. So when I pay my taxes as a self-employed person, I am grateful. I'm grateful for what I get for that. That I can stand here and talk to you and have the freedom to do that without any fear of retribution. I mean, that's amazing. My mother thanks me once a month for still working because she gets a Social Security check. So I am contributing to that. And she acknowledges that. I mean, seriously. She jokes a little bit about it. Good thing you're still working, I'm still getting my check. Yeah. So I feel grateful to pay my taxes. In fact, on every check I write, I always think of who looks at this and says, what in the world? Are they putting some voodoo on me? GIMS. God is my source. That's the feeling and that's the energy I want to project with every bit of money I spend, whether it's a check or cash or credit card. I'm honoring the flow of that in my life. That's what I want to do. So we also do that not only with things we buy, but how we support our community, how we support our planet, for instance. You know, when we started meeting here at Soul Center back in August, I was very, I'll call it demanding. I asked Renee today, am I really demanding? She had a list, but that's a different story. But I was very insistent that we not start using single-use plastics here. I'm like, we're not doing that. I do not want Soul Center to be filling up the landfill with forks and knives and paper this and paper that and plastic bottles. We're not doing that. And you guys answered the call. We said, buy a sleeve of cups, buy a coffee mug, buy some plates. And y'all did that. And now, yes, we use the energy to run the dishwasher, but we're not filling up the landfill with that stuff. That's a conscious decision of how I want to use my money, and you guys responded. So I'm saying you guys wanted to do that too, right? I said no single-use plastic water bottles, so we put a filtration system in, an RO system in it on the sink, so that we don't do that. We said this is a conscious decision we're making because we don't want this result, right? That's what we did. The same conscious decision making about tithing happened since day one of Soul Center. We said, listen, I don't care if our bank balance is zero. That first $100 that goes in there, 10's coming out, because that's 10%. Day one, because that's what's important. You see, so all these things are making decisions about how we support. Renee and I, we pay for some weird things. We pay a company to come around and pick up a bucket of compost every month. Because we don't have a big enough yard to compost on our own, so we pay somebody to do that. So all our coffee grounds and eggshells and pieces of, zucchini skin, cauliflower, yeah, all that stuff. It all goes in there. Do I say you should do that? No, I'm saying that's a conscious decision that we're making, and that's what we do. And then we get a couple buckets of mulch every year out of that. For free. Conscious decision making. That's what it's about. And we all have those decisions to make about our charitable giving as well, right? I think we give, I came to the conclusion that I think we give to charities because we see a need, we care about that need, and we know we can make a difference. It's exactly why the board decided to give to A Safe Place. We see a need. They have a need in that organization, in their service to others. We see a need, we care about that need, and we know we can make a difference. And you can tell by Dawn's tears that she knows we're making a difference. And we can know that with her, right? So it's the same thing with charitable giving. We each have the responsibility, the spiritual responsibility, to circulate abundance in our life. That's the message. I hope you agree, especially with charitable giving. So now is the time to share a little bit about Spiritual Soul Center. Because Spiritual Soul Center operates in the world. We have obligations associated with money the same way you do. We pay for this place. Is it beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Amazing energy. You pay my salary. You pay for music. You pay for a bunch of stuff. Coffee. And I know you're running out already. I'm like, what happened to all the coffee? You are some coffee drinking people. All right? But Soul Center's financial and worldly obligations have been so over the place. We started off before the pandemic. We were going for about 2.5 years. We were using the rental space over at UU. The first 2.5 years, I didn't get a salary. We were building up our place. We were building up. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to build up Soul Center. And I knew that that's what part of what it's going to take. And that's what we did. And what happened after 2.5 years? Pandemic, boom. Everything stopped, right? We didn't meet for almost 2 years at Soul Center. 2.5 years on, 2 years off. So of course we weren't paying musicians, we weren't paying rental. I mean, it was during that time that the board started paying me a little bit. And we kept up online, and it was like, whoa, 2 more years. And just in January of 2022, we started meeting again. And we started at UU. And it was like starting over. We didn't have a music program like we had. We didn't have youth ed like we had. We were just kind of starting over again. And then what happened in August of this year? Another miracle, right here with Meg and Hope Recovery. And you all heard the chair story, and if you haven't, asked somebody, they know it. Or ask Meg, she'll tell you. So we had a board meeting yesterday, and it's time that we share with you like where we are financially, because we didn't even know where we were because of all that. We were this, and then we were that, and then this happened, and that happened, and then over here and over there. And so we wanted to gather 6 months worth of data to share with you, because 1 or 2 months wasn't going to do it. We were just getting started again in this new place, right? So Libby's going to come forward and she's going to pass this out to you, and I want you to have this information that tells you what we've done over the last 6 months. All right. Now I'm not going to review this. This is not a town hall meeting. But what this says is that we're running short, that we are not meeting our worldly obligations, okay, that we're running short of those. And so, just like I've been talking about all morning here, you've got a decision to make. It's like, is this place important to you? Does it bring value to you? Is it a place that you would consider increasing your giving? Or starting your giving? Like, what's that about? Do I value what I receive here? Is it important for us to keep going? You'll notice at the bottom of this sheet, our bank balance is very healthy for a small congregation because we built that over time. So this isn't about fear. I didn't say anything about fear during my talk about money. Money is simply the thing. And we get to decide how we're going to go from here. All right? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So what you'll have an opportunity to do after the service is the board's going to be sharing the fellowship hall along with our candy bag assembly for Vigilant Hope. And you can ask any question you want. You'll notice on the back of this sheet, it tells you what each category includes, so that hopefully it clarifies some questions you initially have about what's going on there. And this is where we are. This is simply where we are today. It doesn't mean it's where we are tomorrow, who knows. But it's important to share and communicate this information with you, because you didn't know until today, until right now, what the worldly obligations are at Spiritual Soul Center and how we are faring against that. All right? So that's what that's about. So I feel, as always, inspired by your presence here. I'm always amazed when somebody tells me how many people showed up here, because I've talked before about doubting myself or not feeling worthy as a minister. And I'm starting to feel more worthy, but just like you, when you're doubting yourself, it's all of us have that experience, right? I'm sure Perry has it as a musician, like, is this going to be good enough, or is this what they want to hear, or is somebody going to criticize me? Well, anytime you do anything, say anything, try anything, somebody's always going to criticize you. That's living life. That's what that's about. So I thank you. I thank you for your generosity to date. I thank you for taking this information in and consciously and intentionally deciding for you what that's about. That's what it's about. I can't tell you, well, everybody should be given this amount of money. Well, I don't know that. That's your decision. That's your decision based on the value that you make, just like the head of cauliflower. It's not any different. You either buy the head of cauliflower or you buy something else, right? That's up to you. That's up to you. I already told you about the miracles. I think that's what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you for listening. Please stick around and ask any questions. Would the board members please stand up for a minute? We have Maggie Rodema, Jim Kimbrough, Johnny Johnson in back, and Jill Johnson right here. Okay? So those guys will be back there. I will answer any question too, but please, they are qualified after the 2.5-hour board meeting yesterday to answer any of your questions. And if they don't know, they'll ask me. So thank you. So let's do some meditation now. It seems like a good time, right? Put that piece of paper away. That is not, no. Really, as Paul says in his letter, the real work, the real battle is to acknowledge the divine in me. To acknowledge the divine in yourself, to release the stories of lack and limitation, and to become still enough to feel the presence that is God in me, the divine, right here, right now. There's nothing to fear. The world will be the world. The real power and strength comes from within. The wisdom to decide with intention and clarity. And you know what? When you decide with intention and clarity how you want to support Soul Center, it won't matter where the offering box is. It won't matter if we pass the plate. None of that will matter, because you will have come to an understanding in yourself. This is how I want to be. This is who I want to be. And in every area of your life, the same thing. This is how I want to be. This is who I want to be. From the divine in me, from the direction of wisdom in me, I know this for sure. So let's sit in that for a few moments in meditation. Blessed is each moment, for the gift of life is upon us, and thus the gift of divine love. Blessed is each breath, for through this we intertwine with the miracle of God. Blessed are we, for our hearts can feel an array of emotions in the magic of love. Blessed are we, for we can think and find resolution in times of distress. Blessed are we, for each part of our bodies, be it broken or not, is a part of God, and thus a divine gift. Blessed are we, for we have food to fuel us and shelter to shield us from harm. Blessed are we, for we have faith, which nourishes our souls. Blessed is each day, for we can rejoice in the wonders of our world. In gratitude we sit. Amen.